Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we have the beginner's guide for Spirit of Potara, one of the first starter decks coming out in set 10. So with local starting back up soon and the fact that these structure decks released on Friday, I thought it was a perfect time to go over the beginner's guides. We do this every single time a new structure deck comes out. This is going to be the best structure deck build you can have with just buying 2 structure decks. You want to get into the game, you want to try out the Spirit of Potara structure deck stuff, you buy 2 of these, and with the deck list I'm about to show you, you're gonna be able to play at a locals and do pretty well. I think the deck is pretty powerful out of the box, and I will also go over cards you can add to the deck, secondhand, that will make it even better. Guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. If you want to help support the channel, there are many free ways to do that during these trying times. You can always like the video, maybe share the video, maybe watch an ad, and if you guys want to buy or pre-order anything you see in today's video, you can always use my link in the description to TCG Player. That stuff really helps out a lot, guys. I really appreciate it each and every time you guys do that for me. That being said, let's get started with this deck list. So we're talking about the leader. So this is a beginner's guide, so we're going to go over a lot of the cards. I'm going to explain why they're so good. This leader actually has a very, very large potential to be really good in competitive play. So a lot of stuff on this leader. Whenever it has a lot of text, it's probably really good. So auto, when this card attacks, draw 1. Auto if it's your opponent's turn and one of your blue unison cards will be placed in your drop area, or one of your blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd. You may flip this card over if you do draw 2 cards. So basically, that's a way that you can awaken very early rather than the typical awaken, which is as follows. When your life's at 4 or less, you may draw 1 card, then switch up to one of your energy to active mode and flip this card over. So you can either wait to get to 4 life, or if your opponent is removing your cards or your unison cards, you're able to flip much earlier, and that's what you really want to go for with this deck. So the awaken side, Godhood Transcended. When this card attacks, draw 1, activate battle, pay 2 blue, choose one of your blue unison cards, and it gets plus 10,000 power and triple strike for the battle. So pay attention to the fact that it is activate battle. So that's really good because you can attack with your unison, and then if they negate, you don't have to waste energy to give it triple strike just to get negated. Likewise, this effect is not once per turn. So if you have like 6 energy and your unison's attacking, you can activate this thing 3 times and give it plus 30k and the triple strike. So that's really, really good. Auto once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn and one of your blue unison cards will be placed in your drop area, or one of your blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, switch to one of your mono blue energy to active mode and draw 1 card. So basically, this leader really rewards you for your opponent removing your board. So a lot of times when you're losing board state, when you're losing your battle cards on your board, that's usually a sign of the game going away from your favor, but this leader actually rewards you for that. So it is really, really cool in that sense. It kind of puts your opponent in a damn if they do, damn if they don't, because they can either let your board stick around or they can remove it, and then your leader is going to plus for you. So that's really, really cool. So right off the bat, we're getting the staples out of the way. You got to play negates, you got to play super combos. If you're brand new to Dragon Ball Super, you're always going to play 4 super combos no matter what. So a super combo has a super combo tag in the corner there because of its power. Basically, this card in particular, if your leader's blue, your life's 4 or less, when this card's using a combo, draw 1. That free 10k paired with the draw was deemed so powerful that you can only have 4 super combos in a deck. Nowadays, there are super combos that do other things, but this is a super combo that comes with the structure deck. Then we're playing 6 negates. Dimension Magic, it's just the best blue negate you could possibly play if you're brand new to blue. Untaps 2 energy when you use it, so you pay 1 to use it, then you get 2 back. Weak Coercion is a slightly worse version of Dimension Magic, but it's still a very, very good card, because you use 1 energy to use it, negate the attack, and then you get an energy back. So it's basically you spent nothing energy wise. It is very, very good, and just to be a little bit defensive, we are playing 6 total negates. Next up, we have our unison. Nowadays in set 10, unison is the name of the game. This is a lot of what our deck is going to be revolved around. This card right here, Vegito, Pursuit of Power. So he is a 2-drop specified unison card, which means you have to pay at least 2 blue for him, but you can pay more. And if you do pay more, however much you pay for Vegito is how many markers he will have, and you have his markers to use his different effects. So permanent, if your leader card is a blue sand card and you have a blue sand battle card in play in rest mode, your leader card does not take damage from attacks. So basically, if you have a blue sand battle card in play and your leader card is a blue sand, it is Vegito, your leader can't take damage. So basically, you're saying to your opponent, okay, now you have to attack my battle cards or my unison cards, and if you remove them, I will activate my leader effect to plus off of that. So that becomes really good there. Activate main plus or minus 0, choose one of your leader cards or battle cards and switch to rest mode, add a marker to this card. So that's the way you get markers on this guy, and it puts a blue sand in rest mode for your opponent to have to attack. Otherwise, they can't do damage to your leader. Activate main, -2 markers, draw 1 card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy, ignoring barrier, place at the bottom of the owner's deck. So that's a really good effect because you're dealing with something that your opponent dropped that they cheated in, because, you know, a lot of times you'll have 7 drops, 9 drops, 8 drops dropped on like turn 4, turn 3 sometimes. And when that happens, you have this guy to get rid of them, so that makes your life a lot easier. So you could theoretically, you know, pay 2 for this on turn 2, get 1 marker from the first activate main, and then the second turn you could -2, get rid of the big threats. And keep in mind, you can only activate 1 marker effect per turn. You can only activate the ±0 or the -2. You can't activate both in the same turn. Keep that in mind. But this is pretty much the heart and soul of the deck. Next up, cards that greatly support this this unison card. SS Trunks, Architect of Peace. He is a 1-drop 5k, but you're never really going to play him. You're going to combo with him for his other effects. So auto pay a blue. If your leader card is a blue sand card, which we are, when this card is used in a combo, choose up to 1 blue sand card with energy cost of 2 or less in your hand, negate its skills for the turn, and play it in rest mode. So with that Gogeta that prevents your leader from taking damage when you have a blue sand in rest mode, this Trunks gets one into play immediately. So your opponent could go all in for game. You combo with Trunks, bring any blue sand out onto the board in rest mode, and the damage is just nullified. So that's really, really powerful. So what are some of the sands we're playing to go along with that? SSB Vegeta, Heroic Warrior. He is a 2-drop 15k permanent. If your leader card is a blue sand card, this card gains critical. So in our deck, he is a 15k critical. Auto, when this card's KO'd, draw 1 card, then add up to 1 blue unison card with a specified cost of 2 from your drop area to your hand. So if you have your Gogeta in the drop area, if your opponent killed your Gogeta and this card ends up dying, you can add the Gogeta back and draw a card. So that's straight up plus right there. SSB Son Goku, Tenacious Warrior, 1-drop 4k, auto, add 1 card from life to your hand. When this card attacks, it gets plus 11,000 power for the turn. Auto, when this card is KO'd, look up 7 cards on top of your deck, add up to 1 blue unison card at the specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you basically search for your Gogeta when this card's KO'd. So if your opponent kills either of these things, you trigger your leader effect to either awaken or plus, and then you trigger their own effects to continue to get you more advantage. So really, really powerful, especially when you pair it with the Gogeta unison. Next up, we have some other good blue cards that come in the structure deck. So for Krillin the Cunning, nowadays we are in a monocolor somewhat format. Like multicolor decks will still be pretty good, but nowadays we actually have turn 1 plays. If you didn't play multicolor decks, they have to charge a 2-color energy turn 1 typically, and that energy comes in taps. You kind of missed out on like 1-drops. You couldn't really play 1-drop battle cards. Nowadays we can play 1-drop battle cards because we're charging an active energy turn 1, which is really cool to come back to. So Krillin the Cunning, it's a pretty simple. When you play it, draw 1, and then if either player would untap energy on their own turn, they would have to warp 5 cards from their drop area. So that's not going to come up a whole lot, but the fact that it just plays it itself and draws 1, that is very, very good. Vegeta, Savior of the Future. This card serves so many purposes in the deck. First, let's read what it does. So when this card attacks, add 1 card from life to your hand, and it gains plus 10,000 power and double strike. So firstly, this thing is attacking, putting pressure on the opponent, and then if your opponent wants to kill this, it is a dinky 5k on their turn, but if they want to kill it, your leader's either going to awaken or plus, which is very good. This is also a great game ender because it is a 15k double strike, and then besides that, this is great for attacking your opponent's unisons, because if they don't negate the attack on their unison, they can't combo to defend it. So if you attack with this for a 15k double strike, they're losing 2 markers unless they negate it or block it. So that's very, very good there. This card is a very strong multi-purpose card. Definitely play for. SS2 Trunks for a Brighter Future. This is a 4-drop 20k that comes in the structure deck. He is unique, so you can only have 1 on the board. Permanent, if you have a blue unison card in play, reduce energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. Auto, if your other card is a blue Future Trunks, which unfortunately we are not. At the end of your opponent's turn, draw 1. So we are missing out on those draws, but the other effect kind of makes up for it. Activate battle once per turn, pay 2 blue. This card gains plus 10,000 power and triple strike for the battle. So let's say you attack with your unison, you wanted to activate your leader's effect to give it triple strike. Well, they negate the attack. That's kind of unfortunate. You can play Trunks for 2, you can swing with it, and then pay 2 to get another 10k triple striker. In the pure budget structure deck version of this is one of our main win conditions, so you're definitely going to want to include 4 copies. The fact that he's a 2-drop as well when you have the unison in play makes him a lot more cost efficient. So some of the other simple things we're playing for my Bulwark of the Future. She is a 1-drop searcher, so paired with Krillin, you really want this on turn 1. When this card's played, look at top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 blue unison card with a specified cost of 2, or 1 blue Trunks future among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So you're searching for your Trunkses and you're searching for your Gogeta. So very good turn 1 play. We're playing 4 Radiant Spirit Sun Gohan. This is a very welcome reprint in the structure deck. This card's very good with its leader because you combo with it. It comes into play in rest mode since our leader's blue, and then your opponent's basically put in a position where they have to either clear the Gohan or they're going to take a whole lot more pressure the next turn. And if they do clear the Gohan, well, again, you awaken or you plus. That is very, very, very good. Next up, we're playing for my Supporter of Hope. So she is a blocker, and her permanent says if you have a Trunks future in play in your battle area or leader area, which we can pretty easily have in our battle area, you may play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost. So if you want to get this on board turn 1, you could play Architect of Hope on 1, and then you could play my Supporter of Hope. Then later on you can combo the Trunks to use this effect, or when you play the 4-drop Trunks, you can also play this next to it. And blocker is really important in this deck because that's how you get your leader to awaken as early as possible. Your opponent attacks, you block, and then a blue battle card has been KO'd, so you can awaken. It is a little bit unfortunate they didn't include a blue battle card, blue blocker battle card rather, in this deck. But anyways, I want to go over some cards you can add to the deck in order to make it a little bit better, a little bit stronger, including some outside cards. So for example, Senzu Bean was not a card reprinted in the structure deck. It's been reprinted a million times, so it's really not that expensive, but it is an amazing blue card if you can get your hands on them. If you already have them, definitely want to include them in this main deck. Dr. Rhoda, Unknown Potential. So like I was mentioning before, there's no 1-drop blocker in the structure deck, and the 1-drop blocker is actually very, very key to this deck. So any of them will do. There are tons of 1-drop blue blockers out there. It could be Dr. Rhoda, there's like a Sun Goten, there's a North Kai. So any of those 1-drop blockers will work. I like Rhoda because it has the added effect of untapping an energy when it's KO'd. But you can go with any of them that you happen to get your hands on. But this is a very cheap card as well. I think it's like 10 cents per copy because it isn't uncommon. So keeping that in mind, definitely a card you would want to explore adding. And then for a few other cards to add that are pretty easy to get, God Slicing Black Kamehameha. So this is a counterplay that only works when you have a Unison in play, but the way the deck works, you should always have a Unison in play. When you use it, you draw 1. Then if the battle card being played is an energy cost of 4 or less, you place it at the bottom of the owner's deck instead of being played. This deck comes with You're Wide Open, which is an older blue counterplay, but it bounces the card back to your opponent's hand, so that's not nearly as good as God Slicing. God Slicing draws you a card and gets rid of the threats to the bottom of the deck, so that's just overall better. And with God Slicing, you have the ability to use it for free. If all your energy is in mono blue, you can activate the counter for free by discarding 2 cards, so that is very, very powerful there. Then for some more additions to the deck I would recommend that are pretty easy to get, we have Zamasu Sacred Disbelief, an excellent super combo. If I were you, I would just take 4 Zamasu super combo and immediately replace the future Gohan super combo, because having the ability to tap your opponent's leader or another battle card that hasn't attacked yet is just so insanely powerful. You'll see what I mean the first time you use it. It's just so strong. I would definitely recommend swapping 4. And just because we are playing a mono blue deck, you can play a blue yellow super combo. You never charge it, you never want to charge it, you always want to use its effect, and it's blue, your leader's blue, so it works out perfectly. Then if you are going to play the Zamasu super combo, another good card to explore would be Son Goku and Hit Supreme Alliance. Just 2 to 3 copies, like 2 could be perfectly fine, 3 could be perfectly fine. It is a rare coming out in set 10, so not too hard to get your hands on. It's a 4-drop energy exhaust blocker arrival for blue energy, so we can play this in our mono blue deck because when we combo with Zamasu, we can get this onto the board because it meets our requirements for arrival blue yellow. Activate battle once per turn. If the card is blue or yellow, switch this card to active mode. So this card can help you be very aggressive by attacking twice, and it can help you be very defensive by blocking twice. So those are the cards I'd recommend adding. Overall, that was also the deck list. So hopefully you enjoyed this beginner's guide to the Spirit of Potara. I hope it helps you out. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.